Hello everybody, my name is Bragster and welcome back to TEW 2020 where we are in charge of Impact Wrestling. Now, we are off the back of Trey's second chance, which he unfortunately lost. He put up a valiant performance but he just couldn't get the job done. And yeah, that's where we are right now. We had a great women's match, probably the best women's match we've ever had. So really good stuff there. Brian Myers picking up another loss, but he gets a chance for redemption today. Right. I think we should just get into it, and if anything happens beforehand I'll show you. If not, let's just get into it. Right, so WWE have had their Survivor Series pay-per-view. I thought it'd be interesting to kind of just show you what's happened on it. So they seem to have actually followed the theme of Survivor Series. Instead of just following the theme, they've decided to abuse it. So every match is a 5v5. So you have like the lower card people down here, then you have the women, and then you have middle card, higher middle card, and then big card. I guess, although that match was better, even though it included Big Show. That's a bit weird. Sure. It involved Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins as well. Okay. Cool. But yeah, apparently it was a really good show nonetheless. So 7.6 rated for them. I thought you guys might be interested. Which means we've also moved into December. So I'll show you the merchandise sales for last month this time. Johnny Gargano blitzing it, as well as Miro, as well as Mick Foley, as well as EC3. Those four are definitely our franchise players, 100%. Then we've got Alex Shelley getting in there, which is a surprise, not usual that happens. Then we've got RVD, Eddie Edwards, Sami Callihan, who's increased his stock, Moose has increased his, and Carl Anderson's has dipped a little bit, even though they're in the title picture. But yeah, so decent stuff there, not bad at all. Just giving an idea of stuff. And then obviously the finances, which we lost 113,000 last time. Sponsorship went up, broadcast revenue went down, I think because we had pay-per-views in there. Ticket sales was about normal but higher than the others. Merchandise sales was a bit higher but also lower than last month because of lack of pay-per-view. Media went up, and then obviously we're costing less in certain places. So what I'm going to do here is, right now we've only got a month left with our finances. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work out the difference between all of them and then add that to my finances. I'll probably do that off camera, but you guys can probably do the maths yourselves as to what I'm going to add. But what I'll do is I'll put whatever the losses are, work out the average of the losses from my 4 months, and then times that by 12 and then add that, so I've got 12 months to start earning profits, is basically the premise. And if the series doesn't last a whole year on the game, then it won't bother us. If it lasts over that, then it will bother us, but we should have worked our way into a position where we can deal with it. So yeah, just going to be open with you guys, that's what I'm going to do. So you'll probably see the finances go up quite a bit next time. But yeah, let's just get on into Impact. Right, it's Tuesday. You know what that means. It's Impact Wrestling time. Yeah, that was a reference to Brody Lee, by the way. Rest in peace, Brody. Yeah, I'm not confident about this show. I've took massive risks. I'm nervous about this one. This is the first one I'm nervous about for a long time. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to go, so let's just go into it. We start off the show with a 71 rated segment. Whoa! Where EC3 tells Moose he is the biggest threat to his title and says that Trey nearly got him. Trey came out of nowhere and nearly got Moose. EC3's just there going, if Trey nearly got you, what do you think I can do to you? So maybe trying to put an element of doubt in Moose's mind. This has started off the show brilliantly. EC3 is amazing on the mic, and he proved it here. And even Moose doing well off the mic as well, which sometimes he struggles with, but he did really well with here, and that is brilliant. What a way to start the show. Makes me a lot less nervous, that does. Then we've got a 51 rated match where Cousin Jake defeated Rob Van Dam. Cousin Jake defeated Rob Van Dam in 10 minutes when Warhorse caused a distraction. Cousin Jake of all people winning against RVD. Obviously, I don't want RVD to lose all of his popularity, but as he's declining and I don't know when he'll decide to retire, it's best to every now and again get him to lose a match here and there, and it makes sense in storyline reasons here. Warhorse picking up that big win for Cousin Jake, just causing that distraction, and it just, the commentators really hang on the words that Rob Van Dam used last week. He used the words, "I'm going to make Warhorse's life a living hell." What he didn't realise was Warhorse can also make his life a living hell. So yeah, 51 rated, lovely stuff. Then we've got a 52 rated segment where Ken Shamrock confronts Jake Chris backstage and says that, look, as you won your match last week and you're unavailable at the pay-per-view, I believe that I should inform you that I'm going to face you next week. You're going to have to face me before you even make it to the pay-per-view. Like, because this is a pay-per-view caliber match. Jake Chris versus Ken Shamrock, pay-per-view caliber. But Ken Shamrock wanted to put over the point that while you're unavailable, I'm going to do this. And yeah, so that should be a really good match next week. Lovely stuff. Then we've got a 48 rated segment where Heath gets pumped up for his match literally just before his music hits. He's getting pumped up with Rhino and going, we can do this, we can do this. 48 rated segment. I know Heath's just great, so it's great just to use him half the time. Then we've got a 47 rated segment where Heath defeated Richard Holliday and Brian Myers when Heath pinned Richard Holliday with a smash hit. Heath with 46, Richard Holliday with a 42. I like Richard Holliday if he can keep doing stuff like that. And Brian Myers 37. Brian Myers, I don't know what to do with him, guys, because I don't really want to push a guy that isn't changing too much in terms of his ability. Like, his ability is, he's a consistent performer, but he's a consistent lower mid-card performer. So I'm not really sure what to do there with him. I did consider giving Brian Myers the win. I'm glad I didn't. I gave it Heath in the end. I think this whole Heath Rhino storyline can carry on going into the pay-per-view then. But yeah, 47 rated, good stuff there. Great performance by Richard Holliday. Then we've got a 57 rated segment where Ace Austin celebrates getting rid of TJP. That's it, he's gone with TJP. He's celebrating Man Fulton, and Foley walks past and he's like, that's what you think. But next week, you're in a triple threat qualifier for that, you know, for the Ultimate X match. And Ace Austin's like, brilliant, who have I got? And Foley goes, TJP and Trey. And it, like, Ace Austin loses his shit. He knows, he thought he was done with TJP, and now he's got to face him in the ring next week, and Ace Austin looks pissed. But yeah, Trey also in it as well, so that should be a really good match. Them three can tear the house down. Then we've got a 53 rated segment where Carl Anderson defeated Chris Sabin in about 15 minutes with the Anderson Spinebuster. Carl Anderson 49, Chris Sabin 51. These guys really seem to, they don't have great chemistry or bad chemistry, but they just seem to really flow nicely together and have these consistently good matches around that 50 mark, and that's exactly what you want, because when they step in the ring at the pay-per-view, if they can put on this 50, plus the fact that they have this experience together, obviously they have they are both tag team specialists, so they should put on a really high rated match there. Then we've got a 48 rated segment where Kylie Hojo and Melissa Santos are having an interview, and Melissa Santos is like, how do you feel to like have pinned Peraza for the first time? and Hojo kind of hints it won't be the last time Purrazzo is pinned either, and Purrazzo loses her shit. She literally just beats up Hojo backstage, and people have to pull her off, and Purrazzo goes, "You will never beat me, you will never do that to me again." So yeah, 48 rated segment, nice stuff there. Then we've got a 51 rated segment where Willie Mack thanks Elijah Burke and Chris Bay for their help, obviously, on Impact, and also wishes Shane Taylor good luck in the main event against Eddie Edwards. And Burke and Bay are just like, look, you've been there for us in the past, we'll be there for you, and if you ever need us again, just come towards us. So kind of just again buttering up Willie Mack a little bit, maybe leading him astray from realising how bad they can be. Then we've got a 47 rated match where Trey defeated Dominic Garrini when Dominic Garrini was disqualified after Ethan Page and Josh Alexander both ran in and attacked Trey just as Trey was building momentum. Trey with a 47 rated, Dominic Garrini with a 39 rated performance. That's really good by Dominic Garrini. Really good stuff there. I'm actually happy with that. Really good stuff. I wasn't expecting this match to be any good. I was expecting maybe low 40s, maybe even 30s. To get nearly a 50 out of these guys, really good stuff. This show's turned out to be really good, and I took a lot of risks. Then we got a 40 rated segment, this sounds more like it, where Trey is getting beaten down by the North and Dominic Garrini, and Wentz and Des come down, chairs in hand, and chase off the heels. As the heels are chuckling away as Trey is battered in the middle of the ring. He does not look in good shape at all, and obviously he has his triple threat match next week. Then we have a 54 rated segment where Miro is being interviewed by Melissa Santos. She is pulling double duty tonight and has smashed it out the park. But yeah, she talks to Miro. Miro's like, look, congratulations, Callahan. You beat Brian Myers last week. You've proven that if Brian Myers beat me, you would have won that title. But let's be honest, he was never going to beat me anyway. Callahan comes down and goes, look, if he had beaten you though, I would already be champion. I'm technically an uncrowned champion at this point. I may as well just have the championship. So Callahan being a bit arrogant, and Miro just going, you might have beaten me once, but you caught me on a bad day. You're not going to get that again. Then we've got a 45 rated segment where Jordynne Grace defeated Madison Rayne and Angelina Love in about 30 minutes when Grace pinned Madison Rayne with a fall from Grace. Finally, Jordynne Grace gets that big win. She's been waiting for this moment to pin Madison Rayne, and she finally got it. And she beat Angelina Love in the process. Two people who have been getting at her on her nerves in the past few weeks. She finally got the big win there. And a nice feel-good moment for Jordynne Grace. Then we've got a 57 rated segment where Gargano and Eric Young have this hype package talking about the past and the future and their match together. All the stuff with Rick Swann gets brought in. It just is that one of those massive hype packages. Obviously, that usually happens before a match at a pay-per-view, but they put it here. I wasn't really sure what to do with these guys this week, so I just put this in because a hype package is something you can always just throw in, but it's more of like a sit-down interview hype package. It's a good 5-minute hype package where they're just going back and forth on almost like in an interview-based segment. And then the main event of the evening, the biggest risk we have taken is putting Shane Taylor and Eddie Edwards as the main event. Oh boy. It's a 54 rated match. In fairness, that's better than I thought it was going to be. Shane Taylor defeats Eddie Edwards. Shane Taylor, clean as a whistle, pinned Eddie Edwards. Former Impact World Champion Eddie Edwards with an unprovoked violence. Eddie Edwards with a 59, Shane Taylor with a 34. Unbelievable stuff there by Shane Taylor. Most of you guys probably would have predicted I may have given the win to Shane Taylor, but none of you thought I'd genuinely do it. I don't think many people would have took the big risk, and I'm risking losing a lot of popularity on Eddie Edwards. I've done the same with Rob Van Dam earlier in the show. I told you I took a lot of risks with this show. What does it end up being? Ends up being a 56. I knew it might risk being lower because of that main event, but I also think it might have been our best match. Was it? Yes, it was only just our best match on the show, so I did make the right decision to make it the main event. But boy, that was a big risk. You know, having Richard Holliday, never had him wrestle in a match. Dominic Garrini, the same for him. Cousin Jake picking up a win. Shane Taylor picking up a win. This is possibly, yes, it wasn't our biggest show in the world as in terms of ratings and stuff, but it was probably the biggest show in terms of the impact, no pun intended, that this leaves on the show, which is there's a lot of new guys coming through, a lot of new guys, a lot of new blood, and I want to push these guys hard, and the only way to do that is to take these risks. I've took some big ones with Warhorse, just took one with Cousin Jake, and then Shane Taylor. I really want to push Shane Taylor, and I knew the best way would be to put him in this feud, and Eddie Edwards wasn't doing too much. I don't have plans for Eddie Edwards for a little while, but if, in all honesty, this feud between the Kingdom and Eddie Edwards is meant to come in towards the end of the feud. Hint, hint, wink, wink at what this feud, where this feud could be going. It was meant to come in towards the end. I moved his stuff to the start because I have no plans for Eddie Edwards like in the build-up. So I was like, why not just stick him in at the start? Why not start the storyline earlier and then have him as the beginning? So yeah, hint, hint, wink, wink about where this might be going there. But Richard Holliday is gone from Impact. I might get him back in the future, especially with performances like that. Boy, oh boy, that was a quality performance. I might make a storyline where, almost similar to Heath's in a way, where he tries to earn his contracts and stuff. But yeah, that was one quality performance, and I will definitely consider getting him back in. And it was simply because I didn't really have many X Division guys, so I looked on the indies and found Richard Holliday, and he performed unbelievable amounts. But yeah, nice viewing figures there. I want to see what it's done, because I don't think it would have affected our popularity too much. No, not really at all. But there are people who I think it might have. Shane Taylor is one man who I think might have benefited a lot from what just happened. Yeah, he gained 5 popularity from that. That is huge for Shane Taylor now. What happens to him from here on out, we'll have to see, because I've gotten to a point now where he should be performing at high levels. If he doesn't perform at high levels, then he can't rise up the card. If he does, then yeah. My only worry is, how much did that affect Eddie Edwards? Because that could have killed off Eddie Edwards considerably. It only dropped him down 3. I think that's manageable. He's back to where he started. Okay, that's not as bad. He's back to where he started. So we built him up and we brought him back down a little bit. So it's not so bad there. I do not mind it if when we remove some popularity, if it just puts him back to where he started. I know he can perform really well at that level. The other person is obviously Cousin Jake, who had a massive win, and yeah, he's also gained 5 popularity. That's huge for Cousin Jake. Obviously, just look at his stats down here. He's going to be incredible. I really do believe that. And then obviously the other worry is what that does for Rob Van Dam in terms of popularity, and it drops him down 4. He's dropped down a lot. I've dropped him down a lot, Rob Van Dam, so it's going to take some building back. Not sure if it'll work, but we're going to see, because let's be honest, he's 49, he could retire at any moment, so we got a little bit of popularity out of him to build up a few guys. Obviously Warhorse is consistently getting popularity over time. Like, since he's been brought in about that October-November time, he's increased a lot in popularity. So yeah, I thought you guys would be interested to see my thought process as to why I've done a few things there and stuff like that. So we'll go into Explosion and see what happens. If anything happens beforehand, obviously I'll show you. If not, then we'll just get straight on into it. Right, so we're moving on into Explosion, change of clothes. I didn't have time to record the second half of this video on New Year's Day, so I'm doing it the day afterwards. So if there's any slight changes in what things look like, only slight little changes, that's why. But we'll move on into Explosion after a good Impact show. What's going to happen? So we got Kylie Hojo and Mick Foley, where Kylie Hojo was brought before the wrestlers' court, accused of not joining the wrestler locker room for a night out, and then Mick Foley sentenced her to buy drinks for everyone. Brilliant, lovely stuff there. Small impact on Kylie Hojo, lovely stuff. Right, I'm going to book the show. If anything happens, I'll show you. If not, we'll just get straight on into it. Right, so I've booked the show. I think it's a good one. I think being the big word there. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what to make of it, but I think let's just get into it and see what happens. So we start off the show with a 37 rated match where Rhino defeated Brian Myers with a gore. Really good match here. Rhino with a 38, Brian Myers with a 35. Both showing a really aggressive attitude. This is like a throwaway match. Brian Myers has been in a losing streak recently. He just can't seem to get it done ever since he's come back from injury. He was pissed off at the injury. He's just getting really pissed off that he keeps losing. And Rhino seems to have had this aggressive streak recently. He seemed a bit more distant in recent weeks with Heath, and he looked like a man on a mission. Heath was at ringside just clapping Rhino, cheering him on because, well, Rhino looked better than he's probably ever looked. Then we had a 42 rated, sorry, it mucked up a little bit. I'm going to have to sort that out at a certain point. Really annoying, forgot to put it in. So annoying, but yeah, so basically Brian Myers then attacked Heath after the match. Rhino chased him off, didn't do anything, just chased him off, which would have turned Brian Myers heel. I forgot to put in the thing that Myers needed to be turned heel. That rather annoying really, because it was meant to be a shock turn. Less shocking now you've seen my reaction to it, but yeah, so Myers has turned heel. I'm gonna have to turn him heel at a later date, probably next week on the next episode. But yeah, Myers turned heel. Myers has lost the plot. He battered Heath. He's lost the plot. Then we've got a 48 rated segment where Melina Perez and Tennille Dashwood talk about their respect for each other and the fact that they enjoy wrestling each other. The fact that, you know, they seem to have this fire of just, they seem to have this chemistry between them both that they really enjoy. And even in the tag match, yes, they weren't beating each other up, but they just enjoy wrestling together. So yeah, 48 rating there, good stuff. Then we had a 40 rated segment where Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary talk about their match next week. Obviously, recently, Valkyrie, Rosemary, Thunder Rosa and Havoc have had this little rivalry going on, but it started to peel back beyond the curtain is this attitude that it may be beyond the little two factions going on. And the two teams, maybe it's between all four of them. So they're having a match next week. Bravo seemed rather distant though. He didn't really say much, and you know, Valkyrie and Rosemary were trying to get him involved, but he just, something wasn't right with Bravo. Then we've got a 41 rated segment where the Sons of Perfection defeated XXXL in about 30 minutes when Joe Henning pinned Larry D with a Henning Plex. Larry D was the weak link in the match apparently. So Davey Boy Smith Jr. had a 41, Joe Henning 45, Ace Marrero with a 37, which is pretty decent there, and Larry D, however, with a 27. That's poor by Larry D, and it does not say that Larry D was off his game, so that says to me that Ace Romero is the only one to invest in that faction. But yeah, a good win there by the Sons of Perfection, both above a 40 as well, put in the match at a 40. I just wanted to see what these guys, I know we've had them team before, but once they've teamed a couple of times, you start to understand how good they are together, and they are a good team. Then we've got a 37 rated segment where Kylie Ray challenges Young to a weapons match on Impact. She's there with a kendo stick. Su Yung is just laughing. You just hear her laughter as she hears that she's managed to get Kylie Ray to agree to a weapons match. This is so unlike Kylie Ray. It's like Su Yung is manipulating Kylie Ray to do things that she doesn't usually do. And that's use weapons, that's have this aggressive side. She's never had this. You know, she's this happy-go-lucky woman, and now she's asking for a weapons match. And Young is just laughing. Kylie Ray is playing into Young's hands just perfectly, and it produces a 37 rated segment. Then we've got a 51 rated segment where Madison Ray congratulates Jordynne Grace and says that, look, I've always respected you. Yes, obviously I started the rivalry with you and this, that and the other, and the past is the past. I've always respected you. You're a very good wrestler. You know, just go for that title. Go for that Impact title. It's your time. Go after Purrazzo. Get your revenge on Purrazzo, basically. Madison Rayne getting this nice side to her. Madison Rayne is one of these heels where she's not mean, she's not horrible, she's just you just don't like her. But Madison Rayne has with her experiences had this respect, and she just said to Jordynne Grace, you deal with Purrazzo, you get your revenge, I'm going to deal with Angelina Love. And Jordynne Grace kind of nods as if to go, you know, mutual respect between the two, especially after Madison Rayne was pinned by Grace in that match. She kind of feels like that's a done deal now, and just kind of giving Jordynne Grace permission of, you know, you don't have to deal with Love anymore, that's my problem, no longer yours. So yeah, that takes away Jordynne Grace from this rivalry. She has been good, and this rivalry has done a lot better than I thought it would. Then we've got a 41 rated main event where Thunder Rosa defeated Havoc in 60 minutes with the La Rosa following interference from Johnny Bravo. Convenient that he wasn't feeling okay at the start of the show and then magically reappeared to interfere and cost Havoc the match. Havoc had a 39, Thunder Rosa 43. All doing great here. Really decent show. Just wanted to see what these two are like together. This rivalry between these four has given me scope to test out matches without actually giving away too much. These guys didn't put on a steal of the show. They didn't go all out. They just had a nice little casual match, a nice storytelling match. And, you know, with these interferences here, there and everywhere, just kind of allows me to give away these matches and just give you snippets of what could be happen in the future. And that gives us a 43 rated show. Really good show here. No standout segments, no standout matches, just consistent all the way through. And a lot of stuff's progressed in the women's division. We've got a lot of rivalries in the women's division. I feel like this is a way that you should build a women's division, or a division in general. My tag division is a big one, probably is slacking a little bit, but I've got my big rivalries. I've got my the Rascals versus the North. I've got Motor City Machine Guns versus the Good Brothers. Obviously I've got the Kingdom and brand new faction coming in. The Desi Hit Squad had a little thing for a bit. I've got the Sons of Perfection coming through there. So I've got a few tag teams developing. My women's division, however, is my standout. Obviously, my men's is always going to be good. Your men's should always be good because it's the largest division on your roster, unless your women's division is your largest. But because it's the main division, it should be good. So up and down the card, I've got some great matches developing there. But the big one for me is my women's division. I've got obviously the Havoc and Valkyrie rivalry thing going on. I've also got the Angelina Love, Madison Rayne, and obviously Jordynne Grace is involved in that as well. Purrazzo and Hojo going at it. Melina Perez and Tennille Dashwood going at it. Su Yung versus Kylie Ray. All main event stars going at it. You know, I can name, obviously I've got the 4 in that in the one rivalry. I've then got 3 in the other one, 2 in the main event one, 2 elsewhere. I've got 13 women I can clearly say I would happily have in the main event. Possibly only 12, maybe Melina's not as good as I thought, but I still believe she's good enough to be in a main event, maybe in a multi-man, but everyone has proven they hit that 40 mark consistently, and when you constantly hit that 40 mark, you're a main eventer in the women's division. Obviously, I would prefer it to be more the 50s route, but that's going to take some time, and the only way I can build this women's division is by constantly putting them in matches, putting them in segments, and slowly but surely building a division that is formidable, and hopefully we'll have a Bound for Glory series with next year. But yeah, brilliant stuff here. Obviously my Impact show was pretty good as well, a risky one with a couple of shock victories, but a good one at that. And you know, it's one that I am happy with. Obviously the shock turn of Brian Myers, probably not a shock to some of you. I was building that up behind the scenes, maybe not like an obvious none of these segments where he's hinting at being a heel, but you probably notice the tropes of losing matches, getting annoyed at being injured, eventually turns. That's kind of what happened. And yeah, brilliant stuff here. I hope you guys have liked this video. Hit that like button if you have. I'm still enjoying the series. This is the first episode of TEW in the new year, and we are going to continue with it. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I do just enjoy recording TEW. I love racking my brain of trying to come up with different storylines, this, that, and the other. And it's been when I was a kid, as I've grown up, I've slowly really enjoyed booking in my head of what would I do if I was in charge, and this gives me scope to do exactly what I'd do if I was in charge, and I've enjoyed every moment of it. So yeah, hopefully you guys run with me in the new year with this series. Obviously any suggestions, put them down in the comments below, and yeah, I shall see you guys in the next video of TEW. See ya!